Hello, I'm back. Welcome to Sba Talk. I am Shante Roddy. I'm coming on to help you entrepreneurs and small business owners who need help with the Eidl Reconsideration process so you can get fully funded under this SBA program. So I was on earlier, but we had a power outage here. So I know many of you all were on. So we're going to start from scratch to make sure that you don't miss out on any of this important information. So this is for you again. If you or anyone you know was denied the Eidl application, the Eidl Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program application, and you want to get approved, this video is for you. Okay. So come on in again. Let me know who you are, where you are hailing from. Do subscribe if you have not subscribed already. We are on our way to reaching 20,000. Thanks to all of our family, our Sba Talk family out there. So we're so excited about that. Do give this a thumbs up so more people see it. Give it a thumbs up. Hit that love button. Also, do share out this broadcast. Sharing is caring. You know, just like yourself, you need help. There are so many of your peers that need help with these different programs. We come on to not only demonstrate what programs are out there, but how you can get fully funded in your business. Okay, so there's not a lot of other videos out there that's doing exactly what we are doing. So this is really going to help you. And then all of the resources and information that I discuss in this video are always in the link are linked in the show notes or in the description of this video. So you can go directly to the resources that you need to get started on your whatever process that it is. Again, it is hyperlinked in the video, or you can just simply go to our website at www.shebosstalk.com. Now, I always want to begin with just clarifying what this program is so people are clear, because sometimes people get we have so many stimulus programs that are out, that have been extended, that are coming online, that are being rolled out. And most of them are being administered by the SBA. So I want to make sure you all know exactly what these programs are. This is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program, right? It was an advance and loan program administered by the SBA. This was initiated under the CARES Act that was passed, right? It was signed into law on March 27, 2020. It's a very popular program that had an advance, right? Which is a grant, which is free money. And then the loan, when you apply for the program, you're applying for the loan, and then for consideration to get the Eidl advance. The advance is no longer available, but this is important nonetheless because whether you got it or not, a lot of you are asking about the denials and what you have to do too if you need to update any information, because you want to make sure all your information is accurate and updated regardless of the program, because it will delay your ability to be able to get funded under this program. Okay, so some of the top reasons why you would have received a denial. If any of these apply to you, please let me know in the comments. If you've applied and been denied and trying to get approved, let me know in the comments. And if you've been denied and didn't know that you could qualify to get approved, also let me know that in the comments. Some of the reasons for denials, one of the top ones is credit. So that your credit is unsatisfactory. I don't like to say that you have bad credit. It's just, it does not meet the satisfactory levels by the SBA. And it's not always that it is your credit score. It may be other credit factors. So if you were denied based on your credit score, that just means you may need to work on increasing your score. It just depends on what it is. Now, for this particular loan, the SBA requires a 570. So I've seen people that have worked on raising their score, and then submitted a reconsideration because they were just a few points off. Also, it may not be your credit score, right? So when I was denied based on credit. It had nothing to do with my score. It may have been, it was other factors. So it could be if you filed a bankruptcy, if you had a foreclosure or other credit related issues, then you would need to address those specifically. So it's important that you know exactly why you were denied, The SBA will give you that information. I know some of you all received the notification via email, and some people found out because you called, you never got a denial letter. But when you call, you definitely want to ask them for an email notification in writing of your denial before you move forward with the reconsideration process. That's going to be important. And when you submit the reconsideration, it always has to be in writing. You cannot request, you can request reconsideration by phone, but they will always take you through the process that I'm taking you through and tell you that you will need to submit it in writing, either by email or fax. I recommend that you do both. But again, a lot of you all is based on credit issues, okay? So you definitely want to address those. Another reason for a denial is an economic, the fact that you may not be able to demonstrate an economic loss. So they come back and say you're denied because you can't show, or based on the information you provided, they can't tell that you had an economic loss, right? That your revenue suffered. A lot of times that may be due to the fact that your expenses that you reported or showed on the application are greater than your revenues, okay? So that means that you had a net profit loss similar to the PPP program. So they can't determine that you had an economic loss, but you can provide additional documentation to substantiate and be able to show them like your monthly income comparable months, right? Now that they're asking for these new programs, but you can compare what were you making, what your monthly gross, what were you bringing in, over the course of 2019 versus 2020. Those are things that you can provide to be able to substantiate your loss of income. Another thing is you may have incorrect or inaccurate information that you submitted. So if they for some reason can't verify your information, then they will decline it, and then they will tell you what documentations to provide in order for them to go through a review process and then determine if they're going to approve you. I know one of the big things that were happening is like the bank accounts, right? So I know I submitted my correct bank account information, but it can be as something simple as a digit being off or a character being off, right, in your bank account information. So regardless if it's the grant or the loan, you can't get your funding if they don't know the proper bank account to put it in. And if your bank name, right, the name does not match your name that you put down on the application, it's going to be confusing for the SBA, and you're not going to get your funds. For an example, if you applied as an independent contractor, you don't have a business name, you would have put your own name. So then your bank account name, the name on the bank account must match your name. So if it's me, Shante Roddy, my bank account must say Shante Roddy. If I applied under my business, right, She Boss Talk, then my bank account must have She Boss Talk on it. If it does not match, that is going to present an issue. So you have to look at instances where there may be inaccurate or incomplete or incorrect information and just work to resolve that with, again, providing updated information. And I know that was as simple as them sending an email with a link to put in the correct account information. Another reason why you may have a denial is because you received the advance, right? The Eidl advance, which was the grant, right? Or is the grant. You received any portion of that, and whatever grant you receive, like let's say it's $1,000. And when the SBA factored in everything that you submitted and they determined that your loan was going to be $1,000 or less, right, of whatever you got as in advance, then they are going to deny your loan. Okay, so then you just have the free money. You just have the grant because the loan would not have equaled out to more just based on how they were calculating, based on the 2.5 months, right? That they were limiting of determining how much you would qualify for. Again, we all know we were not all fully funded based on the CARES Act. The SBA decided to parse it out, both the grant and the loan. So based on that, if your loan was equal to or less than your grant and it didn't make sense, they would have denied you for that. Now, you may have been denied also. Now, I've seen this less than the other reasons, but nonetheless, that you may fit into this category. If your business activity or your business does not fit their qualifiers or their criteria. For an example, gambling industry, right? Businesses in the gambling industry are not qualified to even apply for this program. So if that is you, if you fit into that, you would be automatically disqualified and you would not be able to even be considered because you didn't meet the criteria. Now, also, this program, you had to have been in business and operating as of January 31st, 2020. So if you know you started your business in February, you don't qualify for this program. So no reconsideration, no amount of telling them that, you know, you have everything correct. If you don't meet the main qualifiers, then you would not qualify for this program. Another qualifier is that you had to have 500 employees or less. And so if you have more than 500 employees, again, you would not qualify for this program. But if you have zero, you do. Okay. So if you have 0 up to 500, you do qualify for this program. So again, you just need to make sure you know the exact reason why you were denied by the SBA and then file for reconsideration. Now, denials are one reason you will file for reconsideration. So you do not reapply. Okay. If you were denied, you go through the reconsideration process. That is their appeal process. And you have 6 months from the denial letter to apply or to submit your request for reconsideration to the SBA. Now, once you're under reconsideration, say they deny you again. Every time you're denied, they issue you a notice by email. They will tell you in the email that you have 6 months to apply or to resubmit your reconsideration for consideration for approval. So you definitely want to make sure that when you're going through this process, you get everything you need up front, so you don't have to keep resubmitting multiple reconsiderations in order to get your application approved. Another reason you would want to submit a request for reconsideration is if you were funded, you were approved, you received funding, and the funding wasn't enough, you want an increase. Because at this point, we're going on a year into this pandemic already, and they were only funding, I believe, up to 2 months, right? Like similar to the PPP, 2.5 months, we're almost a year out. So you can demonstrate your need for additional monies, and it's likely that you would get it. Regardless if it's a denial that you're sending a request for or an approval for an increase, you cannot be vague. You really have to be detailed as far as explaining why you have a need. Someone emailed me the other day asking me if their verbiage was correct, and I told them no. Because you can't simply say, I need an increase because I suffered a loss. You have to tell them what the loss, what is your loss, right? That is not, and you have to substantiate it with the additional documentation. So again, you have to be specific and really speak to the denial. I'm going to go over the template and a few of the forms in just a second of what you would need when you're submitting your request for reconsideration. Again, remember, you have to submit the reconsideration in writing. Okay. There's 2 main forms that the SBA is going to request of you when you submit your request for reconsideration. Okay. One form is the IRS form 4506T. That is a request for your tax records. So know that if you are in the reconsideration process, you will need to provide your tax returns, and they will ask you to submit this form so that they can request copies of your taxes as well. You will also need to submit an SBA form 2202, which is the schedule of liabilities. I've had many people reach out to me regarding the schedules of liabilities, really not understanding this form or what to put down. It's really a simple form that you are just going to show any outstanding debts that your business has, right? So if you have a loan that's outstanding that you're paying on, a mortgage, a business mortgage, lease, if you owe suppliers, so this is your accounts payables. right? Anything that you're paying on, you would put on your liability, your schedules of liability. Those are your debts. Those are monies that are going out, right? Assets are coming in, liabilities are going out. That's what you're paying out. So I'm going to really quickly bring up a few of the document, the template, go through that, and then I'm going to bring up the forms just so you can have an idea of what they are, what they look like, and how to fill them out when you are submitting your request. So I'm getting ready to pull this up. I'm going to first pull up the Word document that I created because I've had so many of you all asking me for templates. Okay. So you said, what do I need to submit? How do I write this, right? When I'm submitting my request for reconsideration. I'm bringing it up on the screen now. Give me just a second. So you want to know what it is exactly that you need to bring up or to write when you're submitting your request. Okay, hopefully you can see this on the screen. There we go. All right. So this is the text that I have created for you. Okay, this is when EIDL reconsideration template. This is accessible. It's in the link. The link is in the description. It's on our website under the Relief and Grant Tracker tab. You can click on it and you can download it directly from there. So this document, it has a template for the denial request and also for the increase request. You can see here, we're going to start here first with the denial. You want to make sure that you put on the subject line that is a reconsideration for the denial. And you want to include your application number. When you apply for the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program, you were provided an application number. You need to have that and keep that on record. If you don't have it, don't remember it, call the SBA. They can go through other verification methods to verify who you are in your application and get that number and hold on to it. So the next in the body of what goes in the body of your email that you're going to send to them. So usually I have this in a letter form, I sign it, and it's also in the body of the email. And then I attach all relevant documentation. So who are you? I am responding to what? A denial letter. When was it sent to you? So you want to make sure you're stating what this is for, and when the denial letter and when the denial letter was sent. That's why I said it's important not only to just call them and find out you were denied, they need to send you an official email notification. Then you want to include what are you attaching, what you're attaching to substantiate. So you're attaching the documents that they requested, your tax return, the form 506T that is signed, right? And then the Sba Form schedule liabilities or whatever other documentation that is signed, dated, including bank statements, credit card statements, utilities, articles of incorporation, whatever they ask you to submit, that is what you would outline there. You would also then talk about what is the current state of your situation, right? What are you? You are a 10-person company, 1-person company. Where are you located? You're growing, right? What happened? You were you were forced into lockdown, or you were forced into to stay at home due to the stay-at-home order. What is the current state of things? And per your document, right? Whatever document you're referencing, like your bank statements, we clearly suffered an economic loss. So you are able to show them whether it's a 1099, a bank statement, a tax return, what your funding, what you were making, your sales, your revenue, your clients, right? You were fully staffed compared to the other months when you were on lockdown. What decreased? So you want to state that. So in the future state, if we can get where do you hope that this money or want this money to take you to? What is this going to do for your business? If we get an Eidl loan of the amount that we are requesting, what can you do? You can pay rent, you can pay payroll, you can pay your utilities, you can pay your credit card bill, your business credit card bills. I have to make that clarification. And making your monthly payments in the amount of whatever it is, will not be a problem because your business was very strong and was forced to go on lockdown. So you have to really be able to explain your need. What is the current situation? What does the future state look like once you get funding? And then also in here include how much you need. Now, to send the request for reconsideration, you're sending it to the SBA Disaster Relief Application Department. Their email is here is pdcrecons@sba.gov. They also have their fax number here. And then you want to talk to a Tier 2 representative, and the phone number is there for reconsideration. Here, that's everything that you need to be able to file a reconsideration. Likewise, if you want an increase, you're going to provide similar information, just letting them know you're reaching out, you're requesting an increase on an already approved Eidl loan. You want to make sure the subject is reconsideration for increase. So now it's not a denial, it is an increase for what? Your application number. Make sure that's clearly stated on the subject line. You want an increase of your loan amount. And then attach the relevant documents that are going to show that you need an increase. Okay, that should not be hard to demonstrate, knowing that we're almost a year into this pandemic. And if you were only funded, 2.5 months, however many months you were funded, you can demonstrate that, we're further along, it's almost a year, and you really need this funding in order to meet your business obligations, to pay your staff, to meet payroll, to pay off your outstanding balances. So you want to explain that, right? So, and similar to above, what is your current state? What is your future state? What does that look like upon you receiving the increase? Okay. And the same, you're going to send the information to the same reconsideration department. Now, I'm going to stop sharing that, and then I'm going to share this other form. This is the 4506T form. This is the IRS form. I always say, if you need an IRS form, you're looking for any form by the IRS, you can get it at irs.gov. Okay. And so this form, this is just a simple form to request for your transcript of your tax returns, because I know some of you all don't have them for some reason. You misplaced them, lost them, or whoever did your taxes didn't give you a copy. Whatever the case may be, you can just you can fill out this form, and they can request, you can request your tax return, and they can request it as well. You want to fill in your information, your name. If it's a joint return, you definitely want to state that. Provide your social security numbers that they're asking for, your address, a number of transcripts that are being requested, and then the year period being requested here. So if are you requesting just 2019, or are you requesting 2018, 2017? Again, make sure you know what exactly is needed and request them. And if you're going to request them, request as much back as possible for those that you do not have in your possessions. You always need access to your tax records. Then you're going to sign, and you're going to date it, and you're going to attach it to your email and fax that you send to the SBA. Okay. Now, really quickly, want to talk about the SBA form. All SBA forms are found on the SBA website at sba.gov. Okay. So this is form 2202. This is schedule of liabilities. Let me make sure you can see it on the screen. Okay. So this is, you can see, it's a one-page document, okay, that must be signed and dated. You put your applicant's name at the top. This is a suggested format: schedule liabilities, notes, mortgages, accounts payable. Okay. These are any debts, business debts. So here's an example. The creditor name is American Bank. The original amount, right? So this is a loan. This could be a credit card. This could be a company vehicle. This could be a supplier that you owe. It could be a lease that you owe on a building. Whatever that is, you want to put it down here. If you don't have any, right, then you would put 0, right? But if you have liabilities, then you definitely want to list them here. Again, example, name of creditor, American Bank. The original loan amount, $10,000. The original date of this loan, when was the funds, right, initiated, right? And I have here, that should say 19. So, but original date, whatever that date is, so say it was 1/10/2020, current balance, $7,500. Is it current or delinquent? So you want to definitely know if it's delinquent, or if it is current. And then the maturity date. The maturity date is when the expected date that it will be paid off. Okay. So you can see here that the maturity date that's put here is just an example. It's 5/31/2020. The payment amount, month and year, $750, right? So how much are you paying on this every month and through the year? You can put that here. And how was it secured? If it was secured at all, if it's a secured debt. So sometimes when we're in business, we may use, our home or some other asset as collateral for the debts. Then if that is the case, you would list it here. If you did not secure it, right? Then with any collateral, then you would just leave it in A. Okay. So this is a 1-page document, and then you scroll down, you sign it, you title it, you use it, you attach it. You definitely want to make sure you save all of these documents in a file, just like you would for any other funding or grant application that you're applying for, so you can keep it all readily available. Like I said before, if you have all of these things prepared already, it makes the process much easier. But I just noticed that, there's just a lot of entrepreneurs and small business owners that this is new for a lot of you all out there. You got into business, maybe you're doing the side hustle, you're a gig worker, and all this business stuff is not really, is really out of your territory. But it's so important for this and other programs that you become familiar and start keeping accurate records for your business, all of your sales, all your costs, all your expenses, everything you pay for goods and services, for labor. All of those things you must keep records on. That's going to be for your best benefit. Okay. So I'm going to see if there are any questions on here regarding the reconsideration process. So I originally applied for reconsideration in June, and I just got funded last week. Congratulations. But I was definitely delayed due to having to resubmit the 4506T. So again, you can submit everything and leave out one document, it will delay. And if you forget one, they will keep telling you that the SBA will keep sending you emails that they don't have your information, and you think you submitted your information. If one thing is not submitted, they will not process your reconsideration. So congratulations to you. So many entrepreneurs and business owners have been able to overcome the denial of the loan. The loan is a great program as well. It has great terms. The advance, right? The Eidl advance, as what it was for those of you that are watching my older video, the step-by-step video. That advance is no longer available. That closed July of 2020 because the SBA ran out of funding. There is a new program. You please check out my videos. I have a playlist on Eidl. All things Eidl that you need is on the designated playlist, including the new targeted Eidl grant program that is forthcoming. It's already listed on the SBA website with all the details. Limited eligibility is what they say, because it's only for those that had already submitted an application for the program. When you applied for Eidl, You may have thought you were applying for the grant, but you were submitting a loan application. So many of you are confused on that. When you apply for the grant, you apply for the loan. So they are processed separately. So some of us, like myself, when I applied, I checked the box that said I wanted the grant up to $10,000, but they ran out of funding before they gave me my money. If that is you, let me know in the comments. If that's you, you will potentially qualify to get the targeted EIDL grant of $10,000. If you received only a portion of the $10,000, because we were supposed to get the entire $10,000 according to the law, but the SBA didn't handle it that way. What they did was they decided to give $1,000 per employee. Okay. So now these targeted EIDL grants are going to resolve that. So if you receive $1,000, you will get the balance thereof, which is $9,000. Here's the thing. You must have applied already. Okay. You submitted a successful application and you're in a low income community. Now the SBA on their website says they will be releasing more guidance as to how they are going to decide to determine if you're low income, but you can determine if you're low income by looking at the IRS guidelines on it. You can also just look up the median income in your city or your county, compare it to your state, and see if you are 80% or below the state median. But once they release that their official information on how they're going to go about that, we'll let you know. Then you must have 300 or less employees. Okay. So what does that mean? If you have 500 or if you have over 300, you would not, even if you apply before, you would not qualify for this. Okay. And you must be able to demonstrate at least 30% or more economic loss over comparable periods. You take a period, an 8-week period in 2019, you compare it to that same period in 2020, and you must be able to show a loss. Now, that's not hard for most of us because every business owner that I know took a loss. So even if you're doing better now, right, you pivoted, you were able to recover some, you did better in the latter months of 2020, that's fine. Take the early months, right? January and February, or January, February, and March, whatever period, that early period where we know we all were affected, compare those two earlier periods, and you should meet the qualification. So you do not need to apply. For all of you all that's trying to submit applications, if you go to the SBA portal right now and you click on application, because they've had so many people probably calls and people asking about the grants, they have now put a pop-up on the application that tells you that if you're applying for if you're submitting an application, that it is not for the grant's closed. Okay. And only those that have already applied that meet the criteria that I just stated will qualify for the $10,000 or the balance thereof. You will not need to apply. The SBA will send out emails. Please tell your friends that have applied for this program or trying to apply for this program what I'm telling you, and point them to my playlist, because people keep asking me the same questions. The SBA will email you from sba.gov, not .com, not .net, not .org, .gov. And you need to be looking out for your emails, including your spam folders, because some of you all are still not managing your emails. And if you miss the notification, you miss the notification. They will most likely give you a certain period of time to submit your request, because you will have to request. They will notify you could potentially be eligible. And then they will give you some format to submit and say, check, yes, I want to request it, and to submit whatever information that they're asking you for, which most likely will be your tax returns. For all of you all that still haven't done your tax returns, please get them done or you will miss out, right? Or they would ask you for that, or your profit and loss statement, some financial statement that you can show a comparison between a period of time in 2019 and 2020. So they're doing more vetting this time around to make sure they get, again, targeted to those that are hardest hit. That's what these programs are for. Those that missed out initially. These grants are for you all, are for us. We've been waiting more than 9 months at this point. Sba Form 3502, they asked me to submit this form, but I can't find it. Did you look on the website? Google it. Put Sba Form 3502. I'm sure it will pull up. It should pull up. That's what I did for those forms. Now, the forms that I mentioned are the primary forms. They may ask you for other forms, like she said, 3502. They may ask you for other forms. That may be the monthly statements form. These forms are a guide to help you be able to, show, to demonstrate your income or whatever, or be able to demonstrate that you qualify for the funding that you were denied. Are you all submitting personal tax returns or business tax returns? Depending on what your status is, you can be doing both. If you're a sole proprietor, like a LLC, then you are filing your personal taxes and you have a Schedule C business form. It should be attached to your taxes, and the SBA and any other funder or grantor will want to see that. But again, that is if you're again sole proprietor LLC, that you're filing your business through your personal taxes. Not everybody does that. Everybody's business is different. Please consult with your accountants and your tax consultants. Bliss says she just spoke to SBA agent. Okay, yeah, he told her to send 4506T and 2018 and 2019 taxes only. Okay, did not say anything about scheduled liabilities. Okay, no problem. Don't give them more than what they ask you for. Give them what they ask. No more and no less. Okay, was denied based on credit score, but credit has since went up. Okay, Marty. Did you submit your request for reconsideration? See, again, depending, because again, people think that their credit has to be perfect. It does not. Know that the SBA, the minimum is 570. I mean, so if you're a point or two off, it's not hard to quickly turn that around, right? And for all of you all that are out there, and it's a lot of you all that have credit issues, I hope you're working on resolving those credit issues. Start making a plan. Whatever you need to improve on, make a plan to make it happen. Let's see. Someone is asking about what is the turnaround time. It varies. I can't say it'll be a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It just varies. What you need to know is to be patient with the SBA. We've been waiting a year. Okay, some of us been waiting a year, going through this multiple times, waiting on our grant for almost a year now. So it may take some time, but what you need to do is make sure you do what you're accountable for, and then let the process play itself out. I mean, unfortunately, I wish I could say it was quicker, more smoother, but it just has not been. I think with the new administration, they're working with these different agencies to make sure that these programs and newer programs that are being rolled out are much smoother, and the processes are more streamlined. I think I answered your question, Yolanda, about what other documents do you have to submit and how long did they take? Yeah, I answered that already. My computer autofilled my personal bank information. Okay. I don't know. Your emoji doesn't look like that was a good thing. Please double and triple check all your information for accuracy, completeness. Even for those that are think you may be qualified for even the new grant, the new targeted EIDL grant that is coming out. Please make sure your information is updated. I've had people reach out to me saying their bank closed or they changed bank accounts. Well, if you don't update it with the SBA, you're not going to get your money. Don't let something simple cause you not to get your money. Or you moved, or your any information, your address changed, you need to notify the SBA. Call the same number that I provided in the email template and let them know you have a change that you would like to report, and make sure that they update that information. Okay, my credit was an issue, but it went up 148 points. Oh, wow. Okay. So Jamie, unverifiable information. Yeah, if they can't verify, then you're not going to get it. But that doesn't mean that's where it ends. So many people, like in the beginning, they were like, oh, I was denied. Oh, I guess I'll try something else next time, next year. There may not be a next time. So that's not the end of it. You don't wave the white flag. You proceed with the next step. Like all these programs have an appeal process, or like PPP, you can just apply to multiple lenders until you get one that approve you. So find one that will approve you and find out why you're being denied. I mean, and so that you can overcome it. You know, you can make that assessment, figure out why you were denied, and what do you need to do to get approved. Okay. All right, let me see what other questions are on here. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. I have a list of what my business needs. It fell under prohibited businesses is a reason I was denied. Oh, okay. So I mentioned that earlier. Is your business on the prohibited business list? So all of these programs do have prohibited businesses that are ineligible straight off the bat because they're just not eligible. They're not targeted for these particular programs. So just know if you're in that industry. It was submitted. I submitted my banking information instead of my business banking. Issue resolved. Awesome. Yeah, so something like that is easy to resolve. You just have to take the step to get it resolved. Okay. So that is the Eidl Reconsideration process. For those that are just tuning in, I recommend that if you're just tuning in late, you go back to the beginning, catch the replay. We walk through the process of a reconsideration, including templates to file reconsideration for a denial or for an increase. We reviewed the form, the IRS form 4506T, which a lot of you all asked about, and the SBA form 2202. These are some of the main forms. You may be asked for other forms. Google the forms. You should be able to find them or pull them up, or see if when you're talking to an SBA representative, if they can email to you. I can't guarantee that they will because they're talking to so many people, but it's worth asking if you are having a hard time finding it. But these forms are in the template. They're hyperlinked there. So it's easy for you to get them. Again, the links are all my resources are in the show notes. You could go to our website at www.shebosstalk.com. If you have not already, you see on the screen, a lot of you all missed out on the masterclass. So many of you were in our masterclass, but we have now made the replay available for purchase, our masterclass bundle. It was amazing. It answers these questions and more. For all of you all, there are more than 10 federal relief programs giving out free money right now. Those that have been extended from the CARES Act and those that are new under the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2021. There are billions of dollars out there for you entrepreneurs and small business owners to go after. So I want to make sure you're applying, but that you're set up for success to win the free funding, win the grants that are out there. So if you have not already gotten our Win Grants with Ease Masterclass bundle, I recommend you get it. Also, our cheat sheet is available as well. You can get both at the link. It takes you directly to the landing page where you can get your Masterclass bundle and our cheat sheet. This is a cheat sheet and checklist to help you win more grants. We've helped over 1,000 entrepreneurs and business owners get millions of dollars in free funding. Free funding. There's no reason why all of you all that are viewing right now can't get free money for your business. I mean, at minimum $100,000. I mean, one of these programs can get you that. I mean, so make it a priority to get money for your business. Make it a priority to get free funding for your business. Schedule time in your day on your calendar to do just that, to get money. Who doesn't need money, free money for their business? Every day it's a activity that I work on diligently to get free money for my business. So if I can do it, if my peers can do it, you can do it too. There's money to be had out here. Whether you're a new business, you've been in business for a long time, whether you're for-profit, nonprofit, you have employees, don't have employees, money is out here. States, CARES Act funding, states are still having multiple rounds, giving out thousands of dollars to entrepreneurs and small business owners. Don't miss out on the funding that is available. On down to your county and your city. Use our grant tracker tool. It's free. It's online. We update it every single week. It has all of the federal programs on there as they're being rolled out. It also has other grants, pitch competitions, scholarships, and more on the tracker, and videos, links to resources and other tools to set you up for success. So we've done all the work. We've done the heavy lifting. All you have to do is be proactive and diligent and go after your money. So I hope this has been beneficial. I hope this has been motivating, empowering for you to go out and get your money. Okay. So I will follow up as always after the show to answer any additional questions. And always continue to be the boss with amplified impact. Continue to stay safe and stay in good health. Have a wonderful day.